Seltzer water. What's interesting, I've been putting off making a video about dehydration. I was out in the sun today, well, a lot sunnier than usual, and I got dehydrated. And, hold on. The topic of the video is this: what I learned about dehydration. What's interesting though is what I'm putting off making the video about dehydration and putting off drinking water when I'm seeing my face is red from the sun. That apparently is a part of dehydration. Like increasingly turned off of water. That's a sign of dehydration. So we can start with that. It turns out, and yes, I learned this in a much more real way than a lot of people, because one, I also did a lot of sports when I was a kid, and boxing and stuff that I wasn't hydrating properly, and I was dipping, took a lot of caffeine. I had a traumatic stress condition, so okay, fine. I learned I got I get dehydrated in a way I don't know that I'm not sure of how dehydrated everyone else is. But I learned a lot about dehydration. That was amazing. That's probably true for everyone else. Unless you're a water drinker. And some people are water drinkers. Naturally, they just drink water. I have a friend, his wife was like, you have to learn about dehydration. And she was like, oh, I keep this Perrier bottle, and I just keep filling it up. Okay, so some people know about dehydration. Or they just are a water drinker. I was not, and I learned the hard way what happens when you get dehydrated. And what it is you don't know you're dehydrated. And it has been a constant, almost like a psychological thing, like you get turned off of water, you know it's wrong, that means you're dehydrated, but you don't want to drink water. But what is caused by dehydration? I want to tell you what we found out. There is a doctor, and this is one of these funny things, and I always talk about water politics, but it's funny and it's not funny. His work is being suppressed, and what's funny is he was political himself to begin with. He was imprisoned by the Shah. He's a doctor. What kind of doctor, I don't know, but he was a doctor, and he was imprisoned by the Shah, though, during the period where they cleaned house on people who were potentially political, like they were opposed to the Shah. I don't know that he was political, but he was put in as a person who was like a professional known to like be an enemy to the Shah, whatever that meant. So he was in prison, but he was a doctor. I say his name wrong because it's an Iranian name. I always call him, they call him Dr. Batman for short. Like, the name is spelled like, I think it looks like Batman Gelge, or Batman Gelge. You look it up. One of the main books he wrote, it's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. It's called Water. For your health, for your life, you're not sick, you're thirsty. What he found out was, he was in prison, and he was the only doctor in his, wherever, and there were a lot of prisoners, the Shah treated them brutally, and they were dealing with things like ulcers or, untreated conditions and so on and so forth. And he didn't have anything to work with, but there was water. And he I don't know how he happened, but he sort of experimented with using water, to sort of discovered the dehydration was playing a role he had never realized, because he had nothing to work with but water. So he began to do research of some kind within the prison. He was supposed to be in prison for life. And he went to, apparently he had some kind of trial, and he showed his results, his findings about water, to the Iranian judge. They let him out of prison and said, you have to tell the world what you've discovered about water. This is a new paradigm. This is probably one of the greatest medical discoveries ever. How is it possible that what we didn't know about water? Here's the reason. It's interesting. There was never any money to be made studying dehydration, because what would you learn? That you learn something about people, should drink water, maybe they're not drinking enough water, whatever it is, but it wouldn't be something that there's no pharmaceutical, there's no funding to study the concept of dehydration. So it wasn't known much about. Like maybe you need 8 glasses of water a day. I mean, there just wasn't no one had studied it as a topic, because there's no funding. Because the funding goes to things where there's money. So it turned out it was unstudied. And when he really started his research out of prison, he found out this is what he found out. First of all, God, between the walking and the sun. Also, this is a topic that's really very intense because I was dehydrated for so long. And now I notice it is what it is when I get dehydrated. And as you drink the water, you're like, oh my God, I was so dehydrated. What he found out is that after 25, the body begins to dehydrate more rapidly, and we lose our thirst sensation. And the issue that you are dehydrated comes out as all kinds of things that is not perceived as thirst for water. Cravings, what the fuck was that? Irresistible. It's called irresistible cravings. You ever get that thing where you're just so hungry that it's just almost ravenously hungry? Right, dehydration. You're dehydrated. Desperate cravings for anything. For anything. Like he was saying, it's just that needing, I need something, cigarette, food, this kind of bizarre feeling of desperation for something is dehydration. And 1,000 other things that he discovered about water. It's called you're not sick, you're thirsty. Oh, and then now when I dehydrate easily. So don't my whole, I know I'm just feeling I'm overwhelmed by realizing how dehydrated I was today. It's something, it's a 2012 thing or something. A lot of people are getting really sensitive to the sun. I'm gonna go see if that landlord got home. I gotta talk to him.